This video is made for adult collectors because HasLab Leo Kaiser came in a few days ago and I've been having so much fun with this figure. This has absolutely nothing to do with today's subject, but I need to show you this. So here's the original Age of Extinction Leader Class Prime. And if you know me, you know I have a certain attachment to this. Even though this is not a good toy, I still really like it. Prototype. This was originally just going to be a video on Night Griffon and how it gives Jetfire a run for his money, especially considering this idiot broke under no force the other day. I'm so mad. But yeah, this guy, it was just going to be about this, and the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to talk about how these could potentially be a problem for Hasbro, sort of. So Hasbro is a company that makes Transformers, the most popular brand of transforming robot figures, but there are a few cropping up from other companies, and Metal Cardbot seems to be the one that's taking the charge in the competition space. But that's for later. The first half of this video is going to be the toy review, and the other half will be the more video essay part. So hey, two flavors like chocolate and vanilla, peanut butter and strawberry jam, coffee and cigarettes? Okay, I asked my friends to suggest me some flavor pairings and they suggested that. Fucking dumb, don't smoke. Anyways, the toy. This thing is cool. He turns into a blackbird, so I guess I'll start there and work my way into when he becomes a horse. Because yes, he becomes a horse. Something Uma Musume joke. I've never consumed any of the media. What even is it about? Actually, you know what? I don't want to know. But this is such a sick ass plane. It used to be my favorite jet until this moron rocked up onto the scene and then was never used again because I don't know, this brand is weird. But Jetfire and Night Griffon are about the same size. I am surprised about that. I was kind of expecting Night Griffon to be like somewhat smaller, but no, they are the same size. Bringing in the old leader, and yeah, no, I'm not transforming that thing. I will want to pull my hair out and most of his panels because they will fall off. I love the gold trim that goes all the way from the front to the back and how it extends into the wings. His head is poking out the back there, but it does add some flair with like the wings and ear fins, so it blends in fine. It is extremely solid thanks to all the clips they use holding everything into place. He does come with the traditional Metal Cardbot brick that has a card on it that's not made of metal, and people think I'm weird for wanting it to store somewhere because they don't in the show, and yeah, that's probably the case. Honestly, I still haven't seen the show, but my Transformers coded brain just wants to give it a place to go so that when I put it on the shelf, it's attached to the toy. It doesn't plug in anywhere, and I personally would like it to just like stick somewhere. He has rolling landing gear that, well, rolls well. It spins, but they can all fold away, and that is a pretty clean jet. Now let's just make him a robot. So like most Metal Cardbots, the one thing that I know will upset many Transformers fans is you have to take some pieces apart. Parts forming. It is a thing that is just a Metal Cardbot. Like they do that all the time. I'm used to it at this point. I've owned like what, 7 of these now at this point. I want to get the car carrier, but anyways, this guy's transformation. It is quite simple, even though this entire front assembly does come off because it's his weapons and stuff. But we're gonna fold up the landing gear. And then we are going to take the wings at the back here and the legs and just sort of bend them up. They ratchet right here at these thigh swivels. So you just want to ratchet them up all the way. And that way you can unplug the feet. Because once you unplug the feet, then this comes loose. I've found that I cannot take this up when all of this is in place. The instructions are like, oh, you just do that. It doesn't work like that. But then you take that off and we'll deal with this chunk in a second. That's the only parts forming you have to do is you got to take that off because it's his weapons. So you take the knee pads and you fold them down and bring out the feet. And then you're just going to rotate these so that they're facing this way. And then we'll fold the knee pad up. So again, rotate that around, fold that forward. And there you have his legs. Now, the way that these joints are shaped, you got to make sure that they sit like this. Otherwise, he will just fall over. Because like the legs are just very strange to get standing up straight at first. It took me a little bit to initially understand that he has to stand at a slight S curve, otherwise he will fall over. Once you have that done, we're going to take this panel here and we're going to bring it down at the second hinge so that it sits flat like that. What is that? Oh, I thought that was a paint chip for a second. I got scared. Then we're going to bring these sections back here. We're going to take the arms, bring them out and fold them down, fold down the head, rotate that around. And that's the robot all done. This piece here, we're going to open it up right like that, and then just take this section off. This is his shield, so that just pegs into his arm. Then you want to take this piece, pull the lance out, and that goes into his hand. And then this section right here, you got to take the landing gear and fold it back out, and it's going to slide right into there as the scabbard for the lance. And there he is. Very simple, very easy, and unlike Jetfire, he's not gonna snap. God, I'm so mad my Jetfire broke. That's a cool looking robot with the new color of white popping out here. He's also quite tall, like taller than Liege Maximo, but on the leaner side. He has the world's pointiest knee pads. Bro is going to kill himself if he trips and falls. The feet are kind of weird. He doesn't have heels in the sense that they don't stick out as far as I would like them to, so in certain poses, he does just eat it. Eat what? I don't know, but now I'm hungry. I like the head with the cool beak mask look and the Thor-esque wings on the helmet and the Blackbird wings on the back. He does have a bit of back kibble, but standing straight, even without those heels, he's pretty stable. Okay, maybe most of the time. His armaments are a lance and a shield, which really fits this design. They even gave him dedicated wrist tilt so he can point the thing at you. The articulation is kind of a letdown though. This has the Metal Cardbot W logo on the box, so I was expecting it to be as posable as Heavy Iron W, who's currently in his box to save space, so here's just the box. It's kind of hassle just to get him out of there, and it's funnier just to leave him in all like Stinky Pete from that one Toy Story movie. His head is on a ball joint that can tilt pretty well, and there is a plate below that can allow him to get even greater upward motion, though it does look a bit off because it's for transformation. His shoulders can ratchet a full 360, and almost every joint is ratcheted, but these are very soft ratchets, and they are trigger happy shoulders, meaning they bump into his head when they move. There is a small joint on the outside of the shoulder, but it only goes out like one click. The wings can flap in and out of the way and move up and down so they can clear the shoulders. He does have bicep swivels and really clicky elbows. I love that sound. No wrist swivel, but they do the tilt thing, which I think is a pretty worthy trade-off. There is no torso joint. That's a bit of a shame on that. But the hips have full range. They can go forward and back and in and out, and the butt flap can move out of the way. He does have thigh rotation, double jointed knees, which is fun, and then nothing at the feet. Kind of wish he had ankle tilts, or at least larger feet. The articulation is a bit of a step down from the last couple Cardbot figures we looked at, well, minus Sky Gallop. But just like Sky Gallop, this can do the whole centaur thing. So doing Griffon mode requires you to bring in this brick of stuff. So the card you can remove, and we don't need it. You do need these though. So you take these off the bottom, and you split this in half, and these are wings. So we're gonna flare them out, and they are going to peg into here. So you bring this out, not all the way, because then you can't fit it on. But you take this and you slide it in, and it will clip over that. It will clip over that. It will clip. Okay, come on. Clip, you stupid. There we go. Once it clips on, then you can flare the wings out like that. Once that's done, we're gonna bring this back and then rotate the chest around to expose the bird head, and then close that back up. Then you wanna take the figure here, you wanna take the cockpit section off, fold this flat, bring the legs around, and they are going to clip together. And then you just take the feet, fold them in, and bring this entire assembly up like that. I'm going to fold these back just to get them out of the way of the wings. This will have a place to go in a second too. So now we want to take the legs, and you want to, I forget which way is the front. This way is the front. So unpeg them and bring them down. You're just basically doing this for all of the legs. You just bring them down like that. Then we're going to put it down so I can straighten everything out. Bring them out a click. They do have ankle tilts, which is very nice. This is where the ankle tilt budget went. But that is the Griffon legs. Then we take bro in the weirdest yoga pose ever and come in here and click him into place. Take this piece here, we're gonna fold up the landing gear and peg this into the back to become the tail. And the weapons just stay as the weapons. But there you have him, you can't see that, in Griffon mode. Okay, now that's cool. This time though, it's less horse and more Griffon because, well, this thing is called Night Griffon. I know I made the joke earlier, like the horse joke earlier, but yes, I'm aware this isn't actually a horse thing. He's got some claws and they look sharp, though thankfully they aren't. That's a relief. The only new bits of robot detail here, other than the wings and the legs, is the bird head on the chest, playing into that whole Griffon motif, which is cool. The new legs look sick. I love how the gold on the thighs looks like metallic feathers. Speaking of feathers, the new wings, while these might be a pain in the ass to get on, they give it such a broader presence. It is smaller than Sky Gallop, but I feel like that's a plus here because it means that it's going to take up less space on my non-existent Metal Cardbot shelf. I will get one eventually. I will have a shelf eventually. And he can still hold the lance and the shield, which makes this whole thing feel so much more medieval. The new legs do have some articulation. All of them have universal ratcheted hips, joints at the knees, and ankle tilts. Oh, that's where they went. They put the ankle tilts on this mode because they knew you're probably going to display it in this mode more, which I will. This thing is really neat. And if you can get this thing easily, because the biggest issue I have with Cardbots is just how they aren't easy to get. But Wow. I'm talking too fast. But if you can get it easily, then I would definitely recommend it. But back to the other flavor thing I talked about earlier, chocolate or something, was it? Right. Anyways, the whole competition thing. We putting our marketing degree to work again and putting on that business hat. So let's talk about this. The toy review's over, by the way. This is, well, as DankPods puts it, boring time. But I live in North America and I am familiar with how the North American toy market operates. I don't, however, know much about how the Asian toy market operates. So some of this might be assumptions on my part, but a lot of the details did actually come from SamG themselves, the people who make the metal Cardbots. I just asked them because I figured it would be better than me talking out of my ass. So Transformers is the largest transforming robot brand out there. It's a globally recognized brand with household names with characters such as Optimus Prime and Megatron. So having competition is kinda hard given how large the brand is. However, there are a lot of brands coming out recently, or at least being discovered recently, that are quickly catching on. Metal Cardbot hit the collector scene in North America quite recently, and it's just kind of taken off, and people have started to import their products over here, like I have been. They aren't exactly the easiest to get over here, but they know that, and they are working on it. I did ask them, and I asked them how it was going, and they told me they're working on additional export discussions for better distribution into the United States, with further considerations into other regions of North America, such as Canada, where I live. That would be great. And while also looking at ways to bring it to other overseas markets. They also told me that this is doing numbers in Russia. It's expanding a lot over there, and I honestly wasn't expecting Russia of all places, but hey, I guess the Russians love metal Cardbots. They did also mention to me that they are aware of the enormous reception these products have had down here, but are still in the early stages of getting them to fans on this side of the globe. It's not just an overnight change. Distribution channels have to be set up, pipelines and processes have to be put into place before they can just ship these en masse globally. But once they get out there more and more, given a couple years of successful selling, they could bring a good shakeup into this space here. Over in Asia, they are quite common. When I was in China, I saw metal Cardbots all over the place. They weren't as abundant as Transformers because those were literally everywhere, but there was a decent amount of them. I was curious as to how popular these were doing down in the rest of Asia. So again, I just asked, and they said that Cardbots has established itself as one of the top tier brands with a strong recognition in both Korea and China, which again makes sense because I saw a lot of them. They've also noticed a growth in popularity in Japan with people who like Transformers, so similar to its impact here, but at a much larger scale because it's easier for the people in Japan to get these because they're so close to Korea. They also said they want to aim higher, not just be a children's brand, but also to aim for new heights and new fans of all ages. So basically that translates to some teen and adult targeted products. But they also said, and I'm direct quoting here, "We are genuinely honored to be compared with Transformers. Though we still see ourselves as a growing brand, moving forward, we hope to continue communicating closely with global fans and build a shared playground together." Not to mention how much they cost. I pay a lot for these because I grab them on eBay and ship them over here. And that's not cheap. That's why I only get like one or two every couple months. But the US dollar retail is $40 for Black Hook here. Or if you want to import Night Griffon, that's like 80 to 100 US dollars. But in Korea, he's about, I'm going to change to Canadian because I'm Canadian, but in Korea, he's $50 Canadian. Half basically, and $50 Canadian or $47 Canadian for Skywarp, like this or a Voyager basically. And again, as I've said before, with prices like that, it brings a new string of competition into the space. Competition is good because the more companies compete, the more prices usually in air quotes, go down and distribution intensifies. I think part of the reasons why Transformers is so abundant and affordable in China is because of how many other brands they have making similar products. Well, that and how popular the brand is down there. But all of that competition means more push to have their products out and visible. Here where I live, they aren't super hard to get. Like I can go to any Tom, Dick, and Harry store and find Transformers, but I know in the United States, it can be a little bit rough. I just smashed my elbow into my table. And the people over at Metal Cardbot are aware of how people want this stuff over here. And when I spoke to them back in March, they were super friendly and we talked a lot about how it became popular down here almost overnight and how people really want the toys. I told them about TFCon and everything. Introducing this stuff takes time and it just needs time to grow. But with the show getting dubbed and the distribution channels being worked on, I can totally see this brand taking shape in North America over like the next 5 years or so, even though we will be behind a few waves. I mean, even look at the packaging. This is Night Griffon's box next to something comparable. If you're a kid, you'd want the more colorful one, I bet. And as a parent or collector, this really sticks out to you, even if Astro Train is a more recognizable name than Night Griffon. You know, if you see these two for the same price and you see how that fucking Astro Train looks, you're gonna want to pick Night Griffon. So going back to the question proposed in the title, I think Hasbro should be concerned. It's not like they're gonna seemingly die if this company takes foothold in North America, but they need to be frightened sort of. I just think they need to be more prepared to deal with this brand that's already taken a massive foothold in Asia and is expanding here. I say here, but they aren't readily available in Canada yet. They are down below Canada and the US somewhat. I'll link their BBTS page below. None of this is sponsored, by the way, but I do definitely urge Transformers fans to at least give it a try. I will say, don't expect like Leader Class, Age of Extinction Prime, or Magmatron out of these. Their plastic feels a bit different. Their joints and articulation are going to be strange. They don't really have a proper established size class system, but I would still give it a shot. I remember at New York Toy Fair a couple of years ago where I met Mark from Hasbro for the first time. I introduced him to metal Cardbots and he thought they were really, really cool. And the videos I make on them tend to do quite well too. Well, most of the time. There are a lot of people willing to watch content on these. TFCon LA, there were so many people were asking for these products that just weren't available. There is a demand for it. Let's just hope that supply can combat that sooner rather than later. But that's my look at Night Griffon and rambling on about some business crap. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.